Wednesday, June 26th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Second item on our agenda is the hearing of residents. No signups? Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Item 3A, minutes for the June 12th regular meeting. Item 3B, PC 2019-025, consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat of the UFP Schertz subdivision, an approximately 23-acre tract of land located at 21700 FM 2252, City of Schertz, Comal County, Texas. And item 3C, PC 2018-044, consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat of the Halley's Cove subdivision, Unit 3, an approximately 25-acre tract of land generally located east of FM 1518, approximately 2,000 feet south of Trainer Hill Road, City of Schertz, County, Texas. Commissioners, any items need to be pulled for individual consideration? All right, hearing none, can I have a motion?
I move we approve item 3, consent agenda as presented.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Bro. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ray. Comments, questions? Hearing none. All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7 ayes, no nays. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is public hearing. Item 4A, ZC 2019-004. Hold a public hearing, consider and make a recommendation on a request to rezone the northeast corner of the intersection of Main Street and William Street, more specifically described as Guadalupe County Property ID 67715 and 67570, approximately 0.6 acres of land from single-family residential district R2 to Main Street mixed-use district MSMU.
Good evening, Commissioners. Give me just a second to flip through some slides. Okay, so to get your bearings, the subject property is outlined here in green. This is Main Street, Williams, and Exchange, and it is approximately 0.60 acres. In this parcel right here, there is an existing single-family home, and then the rest of this is currently undeveloped vacant land. 23 public hearing notices were mailed on June 14th to the property owners within 200 feet. At the time of this report, we've received 2 responses neutral to, you can see as the blue stars, and 1 response opposed by the red star. So once again, to get your bearings, the subject property is outlined here in green in both maps. This is the current zoning. It is currently zoned single-family residential R2. Surrounded by R2 zoning and right-of-way, and they are proposing to zone it to Main Street mixed use. So this is a clip of the comprehensive land use plan, the future land use map, the subject property identified by the red star. You can see that it is part of the Main Street commercial in the comprehensive land use plan, which is commonly changed to the Main Street mixed use zoning district. So the proposed rezoning is generally in conformance with that comp plan. The subject property and the request to rezoning should have a minimal impact on the existing water and wastewater and public services. The applicant is proposing to rezone this. As of right now, the intended use would be to have single-family residential infill in this property, but the Main Street mixed use can go low-intensity commercial or residential. Goes back and forth at any time with the Main Street mixed use. Based on the comprehensive land use plan and the surrounding zoning and right-of-way, and the comprehensive land use plan's identification of Main Street mixed use is the most appropriate zoning district, and staff is making a recommendation of approval.
All right, this is scheduled for a public hearing, so we'll open the public hearing at 6:04. If anyone here wishes to come and speak on this rezoning request, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And generally, we allow about 3 minutes for comments. Does anyone wish to speak?
I don't really have a problem with it.
Please, sir, your name and address for the record.
David Wisman, 707 Main Street.
Okay.
So really, I don't have a problem with the Main Street mixed use rezoning. It only thing I see is the city of Schertz going to enforce parking or what are they going to do about the parking along Main Street? Or will they, my understanding on parking is that any businesses or residences should have enough parking for themselves instead of parking up and down the street all day long. That would be the one thing that I see with that space, the house that's on the back on Exchange Street, if it stays there, the rest, the sewer line goes to the front property, so I'm not sure what they would do about that. But that was my only concern.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? Going once, twice. All right, close the public hearing at 6:06. All right, Emily, if you would, could you address the parking and what the plans are the applicant has for the house that's on the property?
Of course. So from my understanding, as of right now, the house that is existing in this portion would remain, potentially get improvements to it, but the house would remain on site. In terms of parking, Main Street mixed use requires 2 parking spaces per property. So if this property was ever subdivided, each individual property would have to have 2 spaces on site. In terms of general, what the city is going to do about parking on Main Street, so there is the one parking lot that the city created further down Main Street. Other than that, I'm not sure at this time. But each individual property would have to have the 2 parking spaces. In terms of sewer, I believe there's sewer in William Street, but all of that would be reviewed and addressed during the platting and potential site planning if this was commercial.
All right, commissioners, any other comments, questions?
The Main Street mixed-use area, excuse me, looking at the way the lots, almost all of them extend from Main to Exchange. So I'm assuming that the zoning district does as well.
Yes, sir. So you can see here, so this would be Main Street and this is Exchange. So the map kind of makes it look more, in my opinion, more blown up, but this is essentially that one block. So if you think of the subject property, it's all the way extended to Exchange. So all of this is currently identified in the comp plan as that Main Street commercial.
Okay.
Is that what you were?
Well, no, I'm just looking at the way the way the lots were laid out. They span that entire block. You see how they all extend from Main to Exchange.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just trying to get a feeling for if for instance, you see where the MSMU there on the left, there in the corner, you see those, no, well, that won't work. And then right above it, you see those 2 lots that are actually on Exchange.
Yes, sir.
Are they eligible for Main Street mixed use?
Yes, sir. They are. So even though it's called Main Street mixed use, it's kind of the block essentially between Main Street and Exchange.
Okay.
Is
Now,
where
the
that is.
lots on the northern side of Exchange, they're outside the,
On this side,
yes.
currently, yes. So if you look at it on the other side of Exchange, it's single-family residential. Yes, sir.
If this zoning is approved, zoning change is approved, this lot could be developed either with another house or 2 or 3 or a business without having to come back to planning and zoning?
So the property is currently unplatted, so it would come back in the sense that to get a building permit, you have to plat the property, so you would see a preliminary and a final plat on this. But yes, it could go residential or it could go commercial, and then depending on if they want to keep it as one lot or make more would depend on how many residential or commercial properties it would be.
Thank you.
And you said the intent at this moment is, that we're aware of, is to add several small single-family homes?
That is the intent, but with every zone change, you have to think about, everything that could be developed there.
All right, Commissioners, any other comments or questions? All right, with this being a rezoning request, it would be to make a recommendation, so somebody so inclined to make a motion?
Chairman, make a motion, we forward this to P and Z, or to City Council, ZC 2019-004, with a recommendation for approval.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Greenwald for approval. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brode. Any other comments or questions? All right, we'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 6 ayes, no nays. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, 4B, ZC 2019-005, hold a public hearing, consider and make a recommendation on a request to change the street name of Wiederstein Road to Cibolo Valley Drive for the portion of Wiederstein Road from Cibolo Valley Drive to the northbound frontage road of IH 35.
So this is a request to change this portion of Wiederstein Road. So to get your bearings, this is 35, Old Wiederstein. This is a Cibolo Valley Drive that extends into the Cibolo portion. And then just this portion in purple that is currently Wiederstein Road is being requested to be changed to Cibolo Valley Drive. On June 14th, 28 public hearing notices were mailed. We did receive 2 in favor shown here. This one is from the city of Cibolo, identifying their willingness and wanting the change to Cibolo Valley Drive. On May 28th, City Council adopted Resolution 19R64, authorizing the city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Cibolo regarding cost sharing for improvements to Wiederstein Road. And what you're seeing on the screen is a portion of that interlocal agreement that identifies as this whereas clause. The City Council of the City of Schertz has indicated a willingness to change the name of Wiederstein Road from Cibolo Valley Drive to the northbound frontage road of IH 35 in support of working in partnership with the City of Cibolo on areas of mutual interest, and has approved an ordinance with the area for the ordinance number to be inserted, changing the name. So essentially this request to change, like I said, the area in purple that is currently Wiederstein Road to Cibolo Valley Drive will provide consistent street naming along the existing right-of-way, which could assist in the delivery of goods, emergency service calls, things of that nature. That way there's not Wiederstein, Old Wiederstein, and then there's several other Wiederstein roads and streets in the area. That way it's just consistent all the way from the city of Schertz portion, which could be Cibolo Valley Drive, into Cibolo Valley Drive in the city of Cibolo. As a note, there are currently no residential or commercial properties addressed off of this portion of Wiederstein Road. That was done in an effort that if this name change was ever going to take place, City of Cibolo nor Schertz address anything Wiederstein Road for this portion. So no one will have an immediate impact in mail or anything like that if this name change was to go through. In reviewing the proposed street name change, we did reach out to our emergency services and our GIS department. I just wanted to show that we did reach out to them. None of them had any objections. There was comments, from emergency services, like I said, that this could assist in those calls. Additionally, we did reach out to Bear Metro, which does the assist in the 911 calling systems, and they also indicated that they were in favor of the change. Once again, identifying that it'll help with some of the confusion that they currently have when someone calls in and says, we're on Wiederstein, and then you're trying to figure out which Wiederstein they're actually on. By receiving no objections from City of Schertz Emergency Services, GIS, and Bear Metro, it appears that the proposed street name is appropriate to aid in emergency assistance. In addition, with the adoption of Resolution 19R64 by the City Council stating a willingness to change the street name, staff is making a recommendation of approval. Changing the name of this portion of Wiederstein Road to Cibolo Valley Drive will not have a negative impact on the surrounding area.
All right, and this is scheduled for public hearing, so we open the public hearing at 6:15. If anyone wishes to speak on this item, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. once, twice. All right, public hearing is closed at 6:16. Commissioners, comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, it's about time. I hope you all took the time to read that memo or that letter from Bear Metro 911 about the similar street names. That's always been an issue within emergency services. I have one question, and I don't know if you're in a position to answer it or not. It was when the resolution went before council, there was, I believe it was the staff memo, it made mention that one lane would be in the city of Cibolo, and I thought all of that right-of-way was already in the city of Schertz. Do you happen to know?
From my understanding, I thought that the entire right-of-way section was in the city of Schertz, but I'm
Again, it was
not
just,
sure what was included in that staff.
was just curious. Well, they didn't have a diagram, so that was just a curiosity question. Thank you.
I would agree with Commissioner Outlaw, just on the perspective of eliminating one of the Wiederstein roads. This is something that's probably well worth doing. But the fact that this is also working together with our neighboring city of Cibolo, I think this is a good idea, and it's a good package total with the road improvements and everything else. So I certainly would like to move forward with this.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we make a recommendation of approval for ZC 2019-005 to rename Wiederstein Road to Cibolo Valley Drive.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Outlaw. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ray. Any other comments, questions? All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. No.
Aye. 6 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, requests and announcements. Request by commissioners to place items on a future agenda. No? All right, 5B, announcements by commissioners, city and community events to be attended, continuing education events. All right, commissioners, if you haven't let Tiffany know, she's asking for commitments to the APA conference coming up later on in November. If you haven't talked to her about it, please do so before we leave this evening. Any other announcements by staff?
One staff report, site plan, excuse me, that we've received. It's for 5600 Schertz Parkway. It's for a 35,575 square foot office. It is part of the Verde Enterprise Business Park. So if you think 35 is down here, turn it onto Schertz Parkway. This is the medical facility there, and then it would be the next property down. So it will be an office building, as you can see. And then the only other staff announcement is that the CCAB update, we got it late, so it was not included in your original full packet, but it is in the Dropbox if you would like to see that.
All right, does anybody have anything else to bring up?
Yes, real quick, Mr. Chairman, I will not be here for the July 10th meeting.
All right, if we would make sure our alternate is aware so we can have her here. All right, anybody have anything else? All right, and meeting adjourned at 6:19.